This is so huge, you're not even going to believe it. Okay, I'm totally gonna do 1,000 earthly dudes before I go back to heaven!
I need you to understand what a legend this anime was when it came out. PSG is a comedy anime centering around two angels that got kicked out of heaven for bad behavior. They're rambunctious, they use a lot of profanity, and they fully embrace getting their back cracked as much as they possibly can, as well as eating as many sweets in there because you gotta throw gluttony in there too. This show was really anything is on the table. So long as it's funny, it's good. There isn't too much of an overarching story that progresses a plot and instead focuses more on an episodic approach to comedy. During the big high school DD era of anime, if you weren't watching one of those two, you were missing out. You have this great inverse dichotomy between bad angels and haughty proper demons. Like, the angels are the sinners and Scanty and Nisocks are demons that are perfect in pretty much every way, which you can definitely extrapolate some choice societal commentary on how being prim and proper to an absurd degree is bad and following what you want and your personal desires can actually be good, and Scanty and Nisocks had the best theme music. All the while, the soundtrack is spearheaded by Teddy Lloyd. You know that Me anime music video where, like, it's a music video that criticizes and critiques how over-sexualized a person's perception of reality can be through anime, and the spicier version of anime that I don't think I'm allowed to say on YouTube. I'm already gonna be straddling the line with this whole video, so it's gonna be difficult working my way around this. But like, how also, like, the culture of anime and the spicy version of anime will keep otakus slash hikikimoris in this death spiral of not going outside and not interacting with life and people. That was made by the same guy who did this soundtrack. Chocolat, or chocolate, made me cry, and I also convinced myself that I wasn't worthy of love. I mean, if the gross and disgusting demon got the cute goth girl to like him, and all the assholes in my school are getting into relationships and girls were fawning over them, all the while I was alone, so logically speaking, that means I'm horribly disgusting and so viscerally unattractive, that has to be the reason why nobody likes me. Therefore, ergo, no one will fall in love with me and I am unworthy of love. And then the first time a girl ever hit on me in college, I had a panic attack.
Bad news, you guys are breaking up!
She couldn't have told me that over the phone.
Obviously, that's changed now. I've been in a relationship with Isabella for like almost 5 years now, and things are going great, but like, even though I'm non-binary, I did grow up male, and so like, as much as there is very valid critique on the male loneliness epidemic, I am a little bit more sympathetic toward people who are kind of in that mindset. The only difference is, I wasn't a sexist piece of shit, and so I was able to leave that mindset eventually, and I decided to continue being a nice person because it's what Batman would do. This isn't a joke. This is actually how I thought. I still skip chocolat. How do you say it? Whenever the song comes on in my car when I press shuffle. Also, I still listen to this soundtrack. Like, this soundtrack is so good. So as you can probably guess, this show was very influential to a lot of people, including myself. And it ended on a massive cliffhanger. They finally earned their way back to heaven. Then only Stalking goes back because Panty was too busy sleeping with other guys rather than actually killing ghosts and doing what she was supposed to. The weeb loser was finally starting to make some progress with the hot blonde and a budding romance was beginning. Like, Panty was finally getting character development.
The daughter of my good friend the mayor is engaged to be married to Briefers Rock.
Panty loses her halo and is no longer an angel. On her own, Panty was on the verge of stopping the enemy from opening the gates of hell, and Stalking descends from the heaven to help her. The most iconic Deus Ex Machina in history. Panty manages to get her angeldom back, and the dynamic duo comes back to kick butt. Then Brief accidentally opens the gate of hell anyway.
So tacky. For real.
And they keep messing up, so their mom descends from heaven to squish all the bad guys and win everything for them. The second most iconic Deus Ex Machina in history. Hell is sealed away again, and then for some reason Stalking killed Panty, and then the show ended. Stalking just became a random bad guy.
But surprise, I'm actually a demon.
And then we didn't hear anything for 10 years, over 10 years, more than 10 years. We've been begging for a sequel. There's been rumors of a sequel. There's been trouble getting funding and greenlighting a sequel. You could say it's been in development hell. But it's okay, thanks to our Lord and Savior, Amazon Prime? Ew, but okay. If you want me to do a full video on the first season of Panty and Stocking, leave a comment down below to let me know. But the first 3 episodes of the new season are out, and I'm gonna be talking about those. Starts off right where it left off. They even fake us out, making us think that there's like a time jump. I'm so freaking glad they didn't do a time jump. The goal now is to collect all 666 pieces of Panty and piece her back together. And they fixed Garterbelt's mouth. Now he isn't a caricature, which according to my short on the racist caricatures and Soul Eater, people in the comments argue that that isn't really a thing. And now we can get anime figures that aren't $300. For pre-owned, mind you. These anime figures have mocked me my whole life. I'm not paying $300 for a 1/8 scale anime figure. Can you believe this? So Stalking isn't really a demon. She's just basically being brainwashed to believe she's a demon. Thank goodness, the ending of season 1 was actually really pissed me off. Can you tell the cute goth one is my favorite? The cute goth one is my favorite. Now, here's the question. Does it maintain the same kooky, crazy, raunchy characteristics of the original series? And I'm happy to say it absolutely does. Sure, there's just as much profanity as the original one, but it's more than just that. It's the sweeping shots and dynamic movements. It feels just like it did back in 2010. It feels more like a love letter to original fans, not letting corporate jerks ruin it for us. And this does go right with Amazon Prime's MO, since they picked up the profanity-fueled Hell of a Boss and Has-Been Hotel, so this fits right in. If you don't like Hell of a Boss and Has-Been Hotel, you're gonna hate Panty and Stocking. And you'll also hate me because I love all 3 of those shows. Sex and profanity is right up my alley.
Oh, yeah,
Mercy, I'm shy. Don't stare at me. Goodness, my outfit's so revealing.
Now, I was expecting season 2 to completely leave out Panty, and I thought every episode was gonna be like a MacGuffin chase to find a new piece of Panty, but they kept the fast-paced plot progression that I honestly forgot was very integral to the show. So nothing is gonna stay the way it is for long, thank goodness. I love how Brief has a crisis on whether or not he liked Panty for her or because she was just mean, but also if every fundamental part of someone changes, that's not the same person, so it's a little blasé. People are gonna call this show woke because they show men being sleazeballs and give women the power trip to beat them up. I'm certain they're gonna call it woke, just like how the new Superman is quote unquote woke because they tried to teach people how to be nice. So the reason Panty isn't her usual slutty self is because she's missing her final piece, her piece of desire. Honestly, I was surprised to see how many women took to Panty and Stocking. When you look at it, I guess it really is empowering in a lot of ways, unapologetically letting women be sexy without really any judgment and accepting that everyone can be their horny selves, all the while having plenty of room for actual, albeit really weird, romance to exist. And if Steven Universe taught us anything, people love giant women. This is the kind of show that had no chance on TV, and it's one blessing that streaming services can give us. In a world where Visa and MasterCard are trying to get rid of anything XXX, we have PSG and Vivian Madrano also, I guess, giving the world a middle finger.
Listen, Garter, Panty keeps pulling my hair.
What's wrong with pulling your hair? I thought you liked it.
I'm not upset at the new voice cast. It's just really weird for me to get adjusted to it. Oh, wait, I watched it in Japanese when this came out. Even though they didn't seem to get Corset's little voice out of Stocking's head, she's back to being herself and everything goes back to normal. Garterbelt, shockingly, invites Scanty and Kneesocks to live with them now that they got nothing and nowhere to go. And I think this is the only time where it's appropriate for me to be horny on main. I'm begging fanfic writers and animators to make some choice works with all 4 of them. You know what I'm asking for. I'm sending out the call to arms.
Go ahead and leave everything up to me. Of of course, my king of hell.
Jeez, okay. I can't take anything seriously in this show anymore. But isn't that what's also beautiful about it? This was basically just brain rot before TikTok and short form videos perfected it. During an age where the internet was in its prime and it was a wild and lawless land, we had stuff like this, the highest quality combination of internet humor to the polish of Japanese animation. It's hard not to fall in love with it. Lots and lots of ghosts are escaping hell, and it's becoming a massive problem. Now Scanty and Kneesocks gotta throw these ghosts back to hell, otherwise they cannot go back to hell themselves. Literally the same situation Panty and Stalking is in, but just reversed. It's pretty amazing.
Turn right 2 blocks past the weed dispensary, then left at the next weed store, then turn left at the next dispensary, and then it's at a diner, next to another weed shop.
Oh wow, I didn't know this took place in Colorado. Now instead of enemies, we have a rivalry. Whoever gets to kill the ghosts gets the coins, which I honestly prefer this dynamic. I never felt like Panty and Stalking were really much of a foil with each other, but putting them beside Scanty and Kneesocks, it feels like everything is just balanced. I hope this dynamic stays for a while in this show, and maybe even learn to get along a little bit in certain instances. Goon? Oh, you know I'm gonna goon to this. I wonder if the episodes were reworked or if this is just what they've been planning on making for 10 years, because Yu-Gi-Oh! Parody feels weird. I get that TCGs aren't irrelevant anymore, but Yu-Gi-Oh! Is definitely not mainstream anymore. It's all about Pokemon first and MTG second with the Lord of the Rings and Final Fantasy fiasco. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is still stuck screwing up their card game with unbalanced rules and overpowered cards. Don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan. I grew up with Yu-Gi-Oh! And so anytime I see it referenced, it makes me happy, but modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Sucks hardcore. Oh, wait. Yu-Gi-Oh! Players are the horniest of all TCG players. It all makes sense now. They're definitely watching this show. Oh, I just called myself out.
They're reprinting Blue Eyes White Uncle card.
The exchange rate's gone from 3 trillion to only 1 Daten City dollar!
This is so accurate, it hurts. If this is a critique on Konami intentionally making cards overpowered and then printing them in later sets to get those booster boxes to sell well, it's a great way to do it. What's great is that you really don't need to watch the first season to watch this one. Do I recommend watching the first season? Sure, but I wouldn't recommend watching the first season before the second one if you're new to the anime. If this is your first time being introduced to Panty and Stalking, then watch season 2, get all that pretty new visuals and jokes, and if you want more, backtrack to season 1. I feel like PSG can be a comfort show for a lot of people. Turn it on and turn off your brain. And they definitely encourage visiting a green recreational building before watching, if you catch my drift. Even though we aren't having a MacGuffin chase, we do have a formula where every episode is a different ghost to hunt down. Not as if it's a drastic change from what they did in season 1. Now there's only 3 episodes, so it's no doubt going to change as the season goes on, but I preferred how they really varied up the situations in season 1. It really wasn't all that formulaic in season 1 because they committed time to ghost fighting along with competing with Scanty and Kneesocks and introducing Brief and doing a beach episode segment and all that jazz. It just felt like more. How many of you became obsessed with sweets after watching this show? Because I definitely got sick from how many desserts I had trying to emulate Stalking. You know what they say, fiber keeps the stomach flat, protein keeps the booty fat, and the only 2 ways to get massive honkers is to either get pregnant or gain weight. So I say eat as many desserts as you want. And fiber. Like, fiber is so much more important than people think. Now you can watch the uncensored version of this video over on my Patreon, just in case you wanted to hear me curse a whole lot. It's been a second since I've done this, so I think it's time for... I visited my parents in Colorado. My parents, my mom, got us tickets to see Dude Perfect live. None of us had ever heard of Dude Perfect, and the live performance was terrible. My mom said it was the biggest waste of money she's ever spent in her life, and we left halfway through the performance.
Yeah, I hope the kids enjoyed it, but that was not fun.
Well, what were you just talking about before we left? That what was that kids show we were talking about?
Kid show? You said Jackass.
No. At home.
At home.
I brought up that kids show that's unbearable to watch.
Oh, Blippi?
Yes.
Yeah. what sent me over the edge was the fact that they had a sponsored ad.
Yes.
Like it was an actual YouTube video.
Is that really a commercial?
Yeah.
On a live show?
I don't care if it's, the Hampton or something?
Hilton.
The Hilton, whatever. That was insulting.
I went on a hike with my dad, and then I got sick. For the rest of the week I was there. It sucked. But then when I got back home, I went to see Ghost live, the Ghost concert. And I don't have any footage of it for you because they locked our phones into pouches. You know those Yonder pouches things they're doing now? Because it's supposed to be like, you're supposed to experience the concert instead of just recording it. Which honestly, I liked because a lot of my job is like always working all the time wherever I go, especially now that I'm adding a vlog segment at the end of some of my videos. So having that concert just for me, really nice. Also, here's my evidence that I actually went to the concert. This dollar was like actually given to me by the person sitting in front of me. She's also the one who gave me a bead bracelet. And like, you're awesome. Whoever you are, I did not get your name. You're awesome. Literally the next day, we went to see Big Time Rush in real life. Isabella is a massive fan of Big Time Rush. And after I had bought a ticket to see Ghost, I got an ad for the Big Time Rush concert. And I'm like, oh, if she finds out about this concert and finds out I didn't tell her, oh, she's gonna be upset. So I just got us tickets to see Big Time Rush. I was still sick, by the way. I was still sick through Ghost and Big Time Rush. It was a lot of standing up and being like, wow, this is awesome! And getting winded and sitting back down. And abusing a lot of Sudafed. Isabella loved the show, and during the concert, I grabbed her credit card and ran over to the merch booth to get her merch so that she wouldn't have to miss any of the concert. Because she does that for me with a lot of the concerts I go to. They even went into the crowd, and I was like 3 feet away from them. It was really cool. Not only that, but I'm still campaigning to get on the cover of a Gamer Shup's shaker bottle. I want the front side to be a big titty anime version of my avatar, and the back side to be the cute femboy version of my avatar. Together we can make this a reality. This is not sponsored by Gamer Supps. So go watch the new Panty and Stocking, fight for femboy shaker cups, and go eat more fiber. I literally cannot stress the fiber thing. Like, so many of your problems are gonna be solved if you just eat more fiber. Tell me your experiences with Panty and Stocking, the show, specifically the show, not any other one, the show. Follow me on Instagram so I can become a real-life influencer, and so that I can get free stuff. It's not an ego thing, I just wanna get free stuff. I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay beautiful, and keep playing.